Hi, welcome to Sunday Rundown. Pretty good week this week. As per usual, running totals on mileage, on the runs, just going to give it a little breakdown and see how we go with it. Felt very fatigued at the beginning of the week and found that it actually picked up a lot as the week went on, which was really good. And I think I finished the week out really, really nicely, but obviously that we'll talk about later. So we start off with Monday. Monday, as always, my easy run. Nothing really exciting to report, just kept it nice and easy, loosening off the legs after the long run on Sunday. So Mondays are more about that. Did a little bit of mobility in on Mondays as well, which I'm trying to factor in a lot more, because I'm finding I'm getting a lot of sort of hippie aches and around the middle, so I'm trying to be a bit more mobile with my training as well. Tuesday, intervals, first quality day of the week. Did 3 15-minute intervals this week. Again, felt quite tough. Did a completely different type of run this time, where I just did a set route and did the intervals wherever they fell into the route. Actually made it quite different, almost difficult, because I don't think I got a very good stage, because like my first interval, for instance, was slightly downhill, so I got quite a boost from that downhill, so it gave me quite a quick pace, whereas my last interval was pretty much all climb, and that was quite slow, so I don't think it's actually given me that much benefit for the quality of it. So I think my plan is to go back to more of a loop style setup for the coming week. Wednesday, stroller run, again kept it easy, just got the mileage in, took the stroller out, naturally slows me down, he still really enjoys it. As I was saying last time, it's definitely getting more difficult now, it's definitely way more noticeable now when I'm taking him out, but I don't really want to stop it. And I think to a certain degree that little bit of resistance training will probably do me some good in the long run. Thursday quality day, second quality day, VO2 max more focused on that quality day rather than the sustained pace for long intervals. So I did 3-minute intervals again. Just pushed it up from last week. Again, it felt good. I quite like these ones because I do them on a fairly flat loop. And the loop's about 1/4 mile, so it's just shy of 2 full loops per interval, and it's nice because it's almost like, from a psychological point of view, I don't really notice the interval I'm doing until the second loop. So I find it's only the last couple of intervals where I'm really having to mentally tell myself to keep going, whereas the other ones seem very, very easy first on, and I quite like that, and it's trying to hold on to that mind state, I think, more is what I've really been focusing on. So I think I've been approaching the week way more psychologically, I think, because of the fatigue that hit me. I think it made me realise how much my mindset was influencing my running. Friday, again, another recovery run, nice easy one. Just got the legs pumping, got the legs moving. Again, tried to finish the week off quite nicely. Did incorporate some hill sprints this week, which is something I've not done before. Well, I've done hill sprints before, but they've been a standalone session rather than incorporating just a few hill sprints into an easy run. So basically I was out running, I think I did about 4 miles into it, and then there's a really nice hill that I spotted. So I did sort of 10-15 seconds sprint up the hill, jog back down again, sprint back up. So I did basically like 4 reps of the hills, and then continued the run and took it up to the total mileage. So that was quite interesting. I find that having those little explosive pops is actually really satisfying, really enjoyable part of the run. I quite like throwing those in there, so I think that's something I'm probably going to incorporate every Friday, because I get Saturday as a rest day. So this Saturday I had a complete rest day on Saturday. I didn't even cycle, drove to work and only did very minimal amounts of walking, so I really let my legs settle. Getting ready for the long run on Sunday. So my long run this week, did just over 17 miles, which is obviously quite a substantial long run. For me, it's one of the longest I've done for many years. Really enjoyed it. Actually went so much better than I was expecting. Tried to keep it very aerobic, so just letting the pace float between sort of 8 and 8:30. Wasn't overly pushing it. I was trying to keep it so it was brisk enough to get my heart rate up, but not push me into anywhere near sort of like thresholds. I didn't want it to be another quality day like the Tuesday, Thursday days. I was really looking for that long stimulus, and I was running for nearly 2 hours 20. I think it was like 2 hours 18, I think it finished off at. So it's a long time on my feet. And I was also testing a new fueling plan because I've been using high five aquas because I quite like those, and I don't like carrying water when I'm out because I think I carry enough stuff in my pockets that I don't want to try and cram a water bottle in there as well. I find it quite frustrating to be overloaded. And unless the day is obscenely hot, so like upper 20s, 30s, I find I'm not actually that bothered. I need a really good drink after I finish, but I'm not actually that bothered. But my fueling strategy this time I bought some, I think they're SIS beta fuel, I think they're called. And they're 40 grams of carbs per gel, rather than the aquas at 23. So I actually had 3 of those whilst I was out rather than 3 aquas. And I must admit the difference I felt this week it was phenomenal. Like the tiredness didn't hit me. My leg aches did. Like I felt those far before I started feeling tired, which I think is quite spectacular. So I'm going to experiment with those again this week, and I think I might even try one before my quality sessions as well, because I tend to run fasted because I don't like eating before I go. I never have done. So having a little gel before I start or after I've warmed up, I've been finding I get a lot more out of my quality sessions. So I'm thinking I might try one of the beta fuels this week and actually see if those give me a real nice little nudge. I mean, it makes sense as well, because like my Tuesday run, for instance, I'm getting into like 11 miles, around the 11 mile mark on that run. So it's like, yes, it's a quality day, and yes, I'm only doing 3 intervals, but the actual mileage I'm putting in is a long run for some people. So it makes sense that I need to fuel it properly. So I'm going to experiment a little bit because as of this morning, I've signed up for the Leicester half marathon. I was going to do rugby for my PB attempt this time, but Leicester has got slightly less climbing. So I'm going for the nicer course with the slightly less hills. It's still a good 300 odd feet of climbing because there's a couple of quite hefty hills rather than lots, but it does make the main part of the course quite level, which I think is going to be good for me going for a PB attempt. Whereas rugby, I think it's just over 600 feet of climbing, so it's quite a hefty amount, and there's some nasty hills in that one. And the course itself goes off onto like a sort of traily track, so it's very loose gravel, and I think that threw me a curveball last year that I wasn't expecting. That I still managed to get a PB there, but I do think like how much quicker I could have been if I'd have been on a more forgiving course. Downside is the Leicester is 2 weeks before rugby, so I'm having to adjust my training timetable now. Because my plan for this, like leading up to this now, is I'm going into sort of like half marathon specific training. So I'm trying, a lot of my running for the next few weeks is going to be very focused on my HM pace. So I'm going to be looking to do intervals around sort of the 6:50 to 7 minute mark, because that's what I need to get below 1:30 this time, which is what I'm hoping for. Obviously I would have loved to have been in a faster point by now, because the whole point of the channel is I want to see how close to 120 I can get. But I've just been noticing that like at the beginning of this, like the top end of last year, when I really started pushing and really started training hard, the gains came really fast, and I went from like 140 into mid 130s really quickly. So it was such a big jump, whereas now I'm finding I'm putting in months of training to gain a few minutes. So I think the realization that I'm getting towards the upper end and it's all the small gains that are really, really important now. But it's going to be interesting to see where that pans out. So yeah, that's pretty much my week in a nutshell. I think it's been a really good one. I feel a lot better than I did last week. I think the fatigue is still there, but I feel a lot less mentally drained now. I think I've had some good runs, and I think it's really picked me back up again. And I think actually getting the half marathon booked and putting a proper line in the sand, I think is really helping my motivation. So as always, thank you very much for joining me, and if I don't see you in another video, I'll be back next week with this one. Thanks.